Variable is a name given to a memory location on your machine. It is a placeholder that will store your data. For illustration purpose, let's say this cube here is a memory location or a variable, and the septagon is your data. So for example, we will give name where fruit to a memory location and then store a value apple into it. Let's do this in Python. Assigning a variable is literally very easy in Python. Python uses dynamic assignment. That means you don't have to declare the data type that you will be storing into your variable. Unlike Java, where you have to predefine what value will go into a variable. So in this case, let's first create a variable which would be where fruit. Just by typing a where fruit, we have created the variable. Next, we'll use equal to sign. That means we are assigning it some value. Now I'm going to use single quotes because now I'm going to assign a string value. We will understand and we'll go over different data types in the later videos. But for now, we are going to assign a string value for which we are using single quotes mark. And the value, the data itself is apple. So in this, we have assigned value apple to variable fruit. Just print shift enter and this value has been assigned. If you want to have a look, then simply type where fruit and then again press shift enter. So you will see the value assigned is apple. Also, you can use the print statement. So for example, print and then you can simply write where fruit to see what value is stored here. If you want to change this value to say banana, then you have to simply again use the same where fruit assignment, but just give value banana this time. So here value banana has overwritten apple. Let's understand this with a visual illustration. So where fruit, the box here is a memory location and apple is a value that was stored in it. After that, we wanted to put value banana there. So we'll simply say where fruit is equal to banana. This will bring banana into this box and apple will go away. One can also assign multiple values in one statement. For example, if we want to have three variables, say where fruit, where animal, and where flower, so we can assign them in one statement. So for that, just type where fruit and then separate them by comma and then say where flower again comma and then say where animal, and then you can simply assign them three values: apple, which will go into fruit, lotus, say cat. And then if you press shift enter, then all these three values have been assigned to these three variables. If you want to have a look, then you can simply say where fruit and then print shift enter. So you can see value stored is apple. Also you can use the print statement. So you can say print and then in parentheses you can write whichever value you want to print. So say you want to say where flowers, so you can simply say where flower within print and then shift enter. So it will give you the value lotus. Also, if they happen to have the same value, they can just make it even simpler. For example, if say you have three variables where 1 and which is equal to where 2 and 3, then you can simply say where 1 is equal to variable 2 and then say is equal to variable 3 and then say whatever value you want to assign them, say 100 and shift enter. So now all the three values, all the three variables have the same value 100. Please note that there are some basic rules and guidelines while assigning a variable. The major ones are variable cannot start with a number. So for example, if you want to say 100 where 1 and then say you want to assign it some value, say 10, then it will throw an error which will be invalid syntax because the name var1 we are trying to start with a number. Second rule is blank spaces are not allowed. So for example, right now we have used var underscore 1. Suppose if you would have used var space 1 and then say is equal to 10, then it will throw error again because we have used a blank space. And the third rule is you cannot use any special character. So for example, if you say var and then say asterisk and then say is equal to 10, again it will throw an error. So these are three major rules that you should keep in mind when you are declaring a variable. There are also some best practices that should be followed while variable assignments. For example, the variables name should usually be in lowercase. Second, avoid ambiguous names. For example, don't use single case notations like capital O or I. For example, if you have to write something, say where 1, and then you say assign it a value 10. Next, you are using another variable which is where underscore I, or say L. So now it looks little confusing at times, right? So try to use better nomenclatures and try to avoid use of single case notations. Also, avoid using names which are already keywords in Python. So I think these are some basic guidelines which one should follow while working with variable assignments. And I hope you have a good understanding of variables in this video. In our next video, we will cover the data types in Python. See you there. Bye bye. Now let's have a quick question to check our understanding from this video. So here's the question. We are declaring a variable 1a, which is 2 exponential 2 exponential 2, and then we are printing it. So what should be the output here? Please note, we have seen that when we are declaring a variable, there are a couple of guidelines we have to follow, or actually there are a couple of rules we have to follow. And the one rule is we cannot start a variable with a numeric. That's why in this case, we are going to get a syntax error, right?